Hello and welcome to this demonstration. We're going to be using Xangati to track down a data store performance issue, and there's a corresponding demo to this one, but in this one we're going to use the storm tracker feature. This is the easy way to track a problem like this down. As you'll see, we're going to start with an informative heat map, and then we're going to move from that and show you how Storm Tracker does root cause analysis of all of the alerts that are occurring in the complex interrelated IT infrastructure, and then how it goes through and uses predictive analytics and can actually predict problems before they occur so that you can take action to avoid them even happening in the first place. And when there is a problem afoot, how Storm Tracker gives IT personnel the exact steps that they need to take to resolve the issue and make sure that it doesn't recur. So with that, let's jump into my favorite feature, Storm Tracker. So what we're looking at here is an overall kind of heat map of the IT environment. We've got our hypervisor hosts at the top, the data stores are there, the users, the desktop pools, and so forth. Now, if any of these circles are gray, it means that there's a resource contention storm going on. So we can see that there's some storm going on a couple of the hosts, and down on this data store. Now I've hovered over this gray circle on the data store to show that the issue is occurring on a data store whose name is NetApp-NFS. And that is being managed by a certain, vCenter, a vCenter that's sitting out at 1047.0.11. So we're interested in this NetApp NFS data store and what is the nature of the storm that is going on. Now, these dashboards, like any Xangati dashboard, can be recorded. You just hit the little red record button down there at the bottom, and then when you're reviewing a recording, you would just grab the time scroll bar, move through time until you get to the point that's of interest to you. And now what we're going to do is we're going to move over to the Storms tab, and we're going to take a look and see, currently there's a number of storms that are going on, and we've got our main, main problem causer in this scenario. The NetApp NFS data contention storm is highlighted. And what you can see in the bottom is, okay, so that data store is having a problem, and at the bottom you can see every object that is impacted by that problem. So they're all in this boat together. You've got Zendesk 02 that's using that data store. You've got Zendesk 06 that's using it. You've got Zendesk 04, right? And then you've got some other things as well. So we're going to click Analyze, and we're going to ask Storm Tracker to analyze the storm for us, because we don't want to go through all the real-time dashboards and pivot around and look around. It's like, just do it for me, like automatic transmission. Just tell me what's going on, Storm Tracker, and it does. It says, hey, comes back and says, okay, we've got a NetApp NFS is a storm. It's in a data contention storm. The following components were affected. Right, we saw this on the prior screen in terms of the desktops that are affected and the clients and so forth. And then a little bit more information comes out of this analysis. It says some VMs, some people, right? VM 04 and the VM called Desktop 02. These have excessive data store latencies, and they're exhibiting significantly higher data store IOPS than other VMs. So the data store contention is probably being caused by these two bad actors. These are the infamous noisy neighbors that are running around in the shared IT infrastructure and causing problems for others that are behaving, just doing what they're supposed to do. But these two are sucking down resource. They're hitting the NetApp NFS data store excessively. So now we can, and you see in the upper right, there's a button that says recommend. Well, let's see what Storm Tracker can tell us about the recommendation. And it says, okay, now for this data contention storm on NetApp NFS, what we find is that this doesn't have to do with the fact that your storage system is running out of capacity. That correlation's very weak. You got plenty of storage space in your storage system. The issue is that that we've got this overuse that's kicking in from these two desktops. And so what you want to do is, your choice is, you can either increase the size of the data store, give it more, put some flash in, for instance, to allow it to deliver more IOPS, or somehow offload the data store so that there are less components of the IT infrastructure that are making demands on it. Now, we've got a graph that shows the history of this storm, and very informative to know, well, what are we dealing with here? Is this just a one-time occurrence? No, it is not. This has been recurring for a while, and sometimes it's less severe, and sometimes it's very severe, what's been going on. And then you have the long-time trend graph that shows that things are not getting better, they're getting worse in terms of this storm. So it might make sense to take the advice and do something about this data store. As we can see in the lower graph, looking at the capacity utilization, we're right up against the wall. We're using everything that data store has, and it's got no more to give. And then all of a sudden you start running into long latencies start kicking in, and throughput starts going down. So what we're going to do here is we're going to look a little more broadly then with Storm Tracker, and we're going to say, could you just tell me, not only for the one that's highlighted for the NetApp NFS component, we know about that one, but there are other things in the IT infrastructure. And because Storm Tracker is constantly monitoring the environment and learning from it, it can predict out into the future. So you've got this very important date called the estimated threshold crossing date. And this is the time when, if adjustments aren't made, resource contention storms will begin to brew. So you get forewarned by Storm Tracker about things that are not quite up above the horizon yet that will be coming up above the horizon, and it gives you time to react rather than dealing with a storm that it's storming now. What am I going to do? So you can be proactive, and Storm Tracker gives you that capability. So all in all, Storm Tracker is your tool. A lot of people like to slog through with the real-time dashboards. There's tons of power there pivoting around. There's great reports, but I love my Storm Tracker because it very quickly sums up all the alerts that have been happening, correlates everything that's in the IT environment, tells me the root cause, tells me what I need to do, and tells me what I need to do to avoid future problems from occurring. And you know what? That keeps the boss happy.